with colors. I'm colors. Today we're going to be making a fairy garden gnome. I have a few of them made here around me in different colors. We're going to do the burgundy one today. And all the things I have in front of me are going to become a fairy garden gnome by the end of the video, hopefully. So join with me today and let's craft. First thing that we want to do is put the dress on the gnome. And I've cut two pieces here that we're going to use to put the dress on the gnome. And I put the dimensions on there for us. The larger piece that goes around the bottom is 4.5 inches by 12.5 inches. And that's going to go around the bottom of the sock that I've already made. I guess I could explain that to you. I went ahead and made that ahead of time. It's just a pair of men's dress socks from the dollar store, and I doubled them up and put the marbles in the bottom and then stuffed it and fastened it with a rubber band. I got that done ahead of time to try to save us a little time. And then we're going to put the dress on, and I gave you the dimensions of the dress. This is the bottom, and then the top piece measures 3.5 inches by 7.5 inches. That's going to go on the top. So let's get started doing that. The first thing I want to do is put the bottom piece on. On this gnome here, which I'm trying to make one like her today. Her dress just barely hits the ground like that, bends a little bit, look, shows a little bit of a crease. And that's what we're going to try to do, is we want ours to do the same thing. So when I put the bottom on, I'm going to make it a little long so it hits the table like that. So what I'm going to do to start here is to take the bottom piece of the dress and just wrap it around the bottom. Make sure that you have it coming off the bottom just enough so it fits about like that. Just creases the table. And then all you have to do is glue it on the back. I'll be right back with you. Now that we have the bottom piece on, and it's just the right hem length for the table there, you can see that, I'm going to put the top piece on, which measures again 3.5 by 7.5 inches. And all you got to do is take this piece and fold it. Take it, fold it in half, and then fold it over like that. And then take your scissors and cut just a small little triangle out of there. Small little triangle, and open it back up. And then you want to just glue that piece over to the top. Now that you have the top piece on, it'll look like this. And we need to put the nose on. So I'm going to do that next. I have the nose made. I'll run by how we make that real quick. The nose and the hands. So in order to make the nose and the hands, you need to use this 5x5 piece of felt. Just any 5x5 color you want to do, felt. And put a little polyester fiber fill in the middle of it. And just kind of take your thumb and push it up there into your round little nose. And you want to take a rubber band and wrap it around there. And that's how you make your nose and your hands. I do the hands a little bit bigger than the nose. Do it like that, and then you just cut that bottom part off. And that's how I'm doing the nose and the hands. So the next thing we're going to do is put the hair on. The hair goes around the whole gnome on this one, which I was kind of tickled about. We're going to put the hair on the back like that, and then we're going to put 2 ponytails on the front. So we're going to do the back first. And let me tell you what that measures. That back piece is about a 5-inch across piece of fur. And then it measures about 6 inches long, that back piece. Give you some idea where we are. Okay, I've got the fur on the back for the hair. And I'm going to put the 2 ponytails on the front now. I've got the fur cut that's the same length as the back hair is. And I need to fold them over and glue them so they're more round. And I'm going to do that right now, and then we're going to glue them right on there. So we have the hair all around on here. I'll be putting rubber bands in the hair and making ponytails on the front. But so far we have that much done. And the next thing I want to do is make the sleeves. I'm using 5.5 by 5.5 inch pieces of felt that match the dress. I guess you could do it that don't match the dress if you wanted. But they're 5.5 by 5.5 pieces of felt. I have 4 pieces for the sleeves. And we'll start out using 2 of the pieces to make 1 sleeve. And what I'm going to do is cut out the sleeve. You can see that I've got it pinned together, and I want to start at the very corner of the piece of felt and work my way up. I want the sleeve to be a little bit wide at the top in order to cover up this spot here when it goes on. I want to cover up that spot where the hair meets. So I'm doing it a little bit, coming up the side of that a little bit wide, so at the top we're going to end up with a wider piece there at the top. So you want to do the same thing over here. Start right at the corner. You want to have at least it to be about that wide at the top, because you got to allow for glue and everything else for it to go on there. So we're going to do both sleeves that way, and then we're going to glue them. Now we're going to glue the sleeves and put a little stuffing in them. So I'm going to let you watch me do that real quick. Just right along the edge. Okay, so I'm going to glue the sleeves. Okay, now that we have the sleeves all glued, we're going to turn them the right side out. Hopefully. So now everything's glued, both sleeves. They're ready to have a little bit of fiber fill. And I happen to have a little bit right here for them. We're going to put some fiber fill in them, but not too much. We don't want them Now they look pretty good. They look about the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue on with the seam facing out. That's how I've been doing them, with the seam facing out. Right on them like that. And that'll go right in between where the hair from the front and the back is. And it'll kind of marry the whole idea together here. So the next thing we're going to do, now that we have the arms glued on, is tack them down a little bit and put the hands on. So I'm going to go ahead and tack them down a little bit. And how I do that is I just put a little bit, about 1 inch of glue right there on both sides, and then tack them down. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is take the hands that I made earlier, just like I made the nose, and we're going to glue them right in the bottom of the seam right there on both sides. Okay, the hands are on, and is what we're gonna do next is make the hat. The hat is made with the chocolate squirrel fur. It's 7 by 9 inches, 2 pieces. You want to take the swirl fur and turn it so the right sides are in. And it's just like I make the other hats. You want to cut it out like a Christmas tree, but at the top, rather than have a point, you want to have about a 1 inch opening at the top of the hat, so we can form it, have a better, so it's not a point. I don't want it to be a point at the top. So you can see how I'm cutting it here. I'm going to make sure I have about a 1 inch opening here at the top. Start right down at the corner. Like that. And this is how you want it to be at the top. About a 1 inch opening there. It should look like that. Now mostly I have been using the X-Acto knife like what that was suggested to me to use, and it does work really well on the fur. But on the swirl fur, it's easier to use the scissors, and it works really well to use scissors on the swirl fur. But on the fur for the beards and the hair and that type of fur, I have been using the X-Acto knife, and it does work really well, and I'm thankful for the suggestion to do that. So let's glue the hat. If you guys have any suggestions, feel free to let me know on the comments below. Sometimes they're really helpful suggestions to me that I incorporate right away and use them, continue to use them, like I do the X-Acto knife on the fur. I got this new glue gun It's a Gorilla glue gun with the 2 temperatures on it. I use it on the low temperature, and it really is a nice glue gun. I'll show it to you. I got it at Walmart, and I've gotten glue on myself. It's orange, dual temperature, and I've gotten glue right on myself quite a few times. I always do. And since I've gotten this, and it doesn't hurt it near as long with the low temperature. So, I mean, it hurts, but it doesn't, it seems like it's better with the low temperature, so than the low temperature. I think it was $7 or $8. Someone asked me if the swirl fur was just available in pastels, and at the time I had only seen it in pastels, so I said, well, I think it's only available in the pastels. But since I found the chocolate fur, swirl fur, so it is available in other than pastels. So you get it all glued like that, and then what you want to do is you want to put a little glue on the top where you left that space, glue that up, and then I'm trying to get this shape at the top of the hat, not a point, but this type of a shape is what I use on the top of the hats. So how I do that is I leave that inch hole, then I glue it, and then I go down that like that, fold it over, and then I'll do it one more time and fold it back. You see, I just got glue on my fingers, but I'm gonna survive it. Let that set up a little bit. I'm still working on the wrong side of the hat. So then we want to turn the hat inside out. Check out the bottom of the seams. I'm going to clip those a little bit. You see how it just kind of sticks out at the bottom of the seam? You just want to clip that off. Now we've got a nice mess here. Now what we want to do is put some stuffing in our hat. And I can see I missed a spot. Well, give me a minute and we'll go back and we'll fix that. I fixed that little spot and stuff it again. Hopefully all goes well, huh? So now I have the hat all put together and I put the filling in it. We're going to go ahead and get it glued on. And how I do that is I start by putting a bead of glue on the top of the nose and set that up a little bit, and then I go and put the glue on the top of the sleeves and then a little bit of glue in the back. So I'm going to try to see what I'm doing here. You want to make sure that your seams are both on the sides to go above the sleeves. You just put a bead of glue right there. So now I've got it glued on the nose and both the sleeves, and I'm going to glue it right here in the middle on the back. And the hat will be on. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now that we have the hat on, glued on, is we want to make the wings. I have a piece of netting here that measures 24 by 26. And I just took it and gathered it together. And then I fold it in half. Because we're going to have two sections to the wings. There's going to be an upper and lower section to the wings. Like that. That's how they're going to look. So you get your piece of netting. You fold it in half. And now you have two pieces. You want to take a Chanel pipe cleaner, go around the middle. Chenille pipe cleaner, and tighten that around each set of wings that you just cut, right around the middle. Like that. And you trim them right off. And then I'll turn this around. We're going to glue this right at just below where the hat meets the hair, right in the middle, the first piece. But you glue right on where you trimmed off the stem. And let it set up. So after you get the first one set up on there, you want to take the second set of wings and place those just right at where the hat meets the hair, just a little bit higher. And we'll let that set up. Okay, now that we have the wings glued on, don't they look good? They're really cute. We're going to finish some of the embellishments. Now on the hat, I just take a stem of flowers and I picked these out at Joann's. These aren't exactly the same as the first three I made. And you just want to put a little glue on there and glue one right at the very top. That one should be right in the middle there, and then one on each side. I take this other stem of flowers that I got at Joann's. And I don't believe so we're going to take this second flower and there's not a name of it on the stem of flowers, so I can't tell you what it's called. But if you can see what it looks like, I'm using that for the trim work around the dress and the middle of the flowers as well. So I'll get us started here. Right along the line where the two pieces of the dress meet, I put them. The next thing I want to do is put on this little hat piece that I made for them just above the flowers here. This is how it turns out. They all have one of those on. And I just took a piece of netting and knotted it at both ends. We're going to glue that on right above those three flowers. Now I'm gluing some more embellishment on the netting across the hat. Just cutting some more of the pieces off the little flower. And gluing them right on top of the little knot. Handy to have the low temperature glue gun when you're doing stuff like this. Okay, now that we have those embellishments in the netting piece going across her hat, her flowers on there, her wings on the back, I do want to take time finally to put the ponytail holders in. So I'll just take a couple minutes and do that. So now we have the ponytail holders in. She's starting to take pretty good shape. I have a little bouquet of flowers that I made, the same flowers that she has on her hat, that I was going to put underneath her arm here. And I just want to put some glue around the bottom of that. And bring it in on her hand and over to the side of her body and let that set up. So the last thing we want to do is add the wand, and that's optional. I do have it on these fairies, if you can see. It's not supposed to be real obvious. It's just an extra piece on there. If you want to have the fairy have a little wand, then that's what I did. Was I took a disposable paintbrush like you can buy at Walmart. There's 30 for $1. and I painted it with Rust-Oleum's metallic accents and let it dry for a while. And you just stick it in a piece of styrofoam. It makes it a lot easier. And paint it and then let it dry. So this part will be glued by the bouquet, and then this top part here will be cut off. Actually, we'll put the beads on all the way to as far as they'll go, and then like that, and you glue the last bead in place, and that keeps them all on there like that. You take your scissors and you just cut that end piece right off, and you have your little wand. Save your styrofoam for another project. And what I did on these is I just glued the little wand in where the bouquet is, facing up, and that's what I'll do right now. Okay, so we've got her all put together, her wand's in place, her hair's all ponytailed, she's got her flowers in her hat, her wings are on, she's all finished. That's how easy it is to make a garden fairy gnome. She'll be set in place with all the other little gnomes I made. I've got 4 now. So if you have any questions, comment below. And thanks a lot for watching. And make sure to like.